though it wasn't quite the 41-6 blowout I predicted, it wasn't even a blowout really. But Michigan dominated Iowa. Oh, and Iabioki and Mike Morris are problems. That and more on the Michigan Madman Show. And I'm going to tell you why I'm mad.
Frankly, he's very mad. We're going to try to find out why. So we'll take some questions at this point from our studio audience. Yes, ma'am. Please stand and state your name and where you're from.
Hi, my name is Shay, and I'm from New Rochelle. And I just don't understand why you so mad.
Yeah.
Like, what are you so mad about?
You want to know why? First of all, you can't be asking me no question. You know what I'm saying? Look at you. You know what I'm saying? You can't be asking me no question. I'm going to tell you why I'm mad. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to tell you why I'm mad.
And I'm going to tell you why I'm mad. I'm mad because Fox in the Big Noon Countdown clearly didn't drug test Reggie Bush before the show. And before he said this blasphemy.
Listen, I've been impressed by the energy of the fans from start to where we are right now. These fans are ready to turn this game up right now, man. So I'm going Iowa, 21-17, baby. There it is. Yes, sir.
Before I get too off the rails and go too hard on Reggie Bush, who otherwise does a decent job on Fox Noon, on Big Noon Countdown, but clearly he was smoking the Kinnick crack this past Saturday, Week 5, Michigan versus Iowa. I'm going to also tell you what I'm mad at. I'm mad at Joel Klatt. Last season, Joel Klatt was Michigan's biggest supporter, right? When we're the underdog, he's all over us. But now that we are in a position of power, the defending, reigning Big Ten champions, it's like Joel Klatt is against us. Every call, Joel Klatt is questioning it. That's 2 weeks straight, Joel Klatt. Get it together. I'm not going to hold too much against you either, though, because I get it. We were on the bottom for a long time in terms of really challenging for the division. For the conference. Now we are in, like I said, a position of power. The AP polls are out again. Michigan's still number 4. I'm not too mad at that. What I am mad at is that when Georgia or any SEC team, Georgia, Alabama, these two that share the top 4 with us in the other state, I refuse to say Ohio when referring to them, even though I'm from the great state of Ohio. Shout out to everybody from Dayton. But they just flip-flop those two. Georgia struggled with Mizzou, with Missouri of all teams, and they went from number 1 to number 2. Alabama struggled earlier in the season against Texas. They went from number 1 to number 2. Alabama had some struggles in this past week against Arkansas while at number 2, and they just moved up to number 1. Meanwhile, Ohio State did go out here and beat a JV team in Rutgers. And let's speak about that for a second, because I'm mad about that too. Ohio State up 49-10 went for a fake punt on Rutgers. What are you doing? It's disrespectful. Now, I guess you can say, we were up, we're trying new things, we're testing out some things, but that's still disrespectful. Greg Schiano is a legitimate coach. He's respected out here. By the way, Greg Schiano and Ryan Day almost went to blows. I would have loved to have seen that. My money is on Greg Schiano, by the way. But getting back to the topic at hand, Week 5, number 4 Michigan goes into Kinnick Stadium, slays the demon that is Kinnick Stadium in its top 5 aura, and gets the 13-point win, 27-14 in favor of the good guys. Go Blue. Blake Corum, second straight game up over 100 yards. This past week this week against Iowa, he went 29 carries, I believe, 133 yards, and another big touchdown at the end. Really iced the game, although Iowa went and scored a garbage time touchdown to inflate some stats, I guess. One thing I do want to speak on the Michigan offense, we need to allow JJ to air it out. Now, again, I will say this. JJ did miss Roman Wilson again, wide open in the end zone. Threw it a little too far, and that seems to be what happens on his deep balls. He's overthrowing receivers rather than underthrowing, which I'll take because those underthrows turn into interceptions. But once he dials in that deep ball, he's going to be unstoppable. And we need to allow him the autonomy to throw it deep. I get it. He's missed some big ones. I wish he would have had back, but we still need to allow JJ to throw it. I started the hashtag on my Twitter, let JJ throw. We need to continue that because we need to see JJ throw it. Now, granted, he threw it 24 times. They were all pretty much intermediate to short passes, 155 yards, 1 touchdown. No interceptions. He went 18 of 24, by the way. So the percentage is decent. Already went over Blake Corum and what he did. Donovan Edwards was back this week, and he looked good. 5 rushes for 29 yards. Also caught a touchdown. JJ's lone touchdown pass went to Donovan Edwards. I will say the first 3 quarters of this game really dominated by Michigan. 20-0 going into the fourth quarter, 13-0 at halftime. It's looking like we're going to win a blowout, a shutout blowout. Of course, no disrespect to Iowa, but, their offense is what it is. Some credit due to Iowa, though. Spencer Petras threw for more yards than he has against anybody. Of course, he saved his best for Michigan. They also had a couple big plays, and so Michigan gave up a couple big plays that led to their 2 fourth quarter touchdowns. One of them in super garbage time. I'm really not counting that one, but they scored it. So a couple things that I noticed in this game. Number 1, Mozzie Smith is a man, an entire grown man. Number 2, Mike Morris and Iabioki are Aiden Hutchinson, David Ajabo light. I don't want to disrespect Aiden and David because I would never. But Morris, Oki are nasty, and they get after the quarterback. Oki doing it a completely different way. It's athleticism and power, where with Mike Morris, it's straight bull rush power. Now, he did show the complete arsenal of pass rush moves a couple times yesterday as well. Saturday. But those guys, I think, can keep working and building on that chemistry and really turn into something later in the season that we're going to really need, especially against teams like Ohio State. We need to get pressure on C.J. Stroud, or it could be a long night for us, even though the secondary is very stout. Will Johnson, as a freshman, has really got some invaluable minutes and proved to be the 5-star that he was recruited to be. Makari Page, a very big, rangy safety, isn't afraid to mix it up there in the box. So I think all levels of the defense were pretty straight. Obviously, Junior Colston, we know, is going to do what he does, make plays. So defensively, very solid, very stout. The offensive line was dominant. The push was serious, and whenever we really needed it, we got some push up front for big first downs and to spring some big runs by both Corum and Donovan Edwards. So the offensive line is stout. The running backs, probably the best tandem in the country, so we don't need to go over that. JJ is a rock star. We know that. On the outside, we got speed to burn. There's Ronnie Bell. There's Roman Wilson. And you mix in Andrell Anthony, and even Clemens got some burn. So we have the talent. It's just about putting it together. A couple things that I wanted to burn on as well. It looks like Michigan had another 5-star defensive lineman on the campus. I'm not saying Michigan is going to win this kid or get this kid to commit. Just saying he's on the campus. That's a big deal. It's a big deal because this class needs an infusion, if you will, of talent. And I'm not saying it's a trash class because it isn't. I'm just saying having a 5-star on the campus Sunday is a big deal. That 5-star was 5-star defensive lineman out of North Carolina, of course, David Hobbs. Some of you may have heard of him. Michigan offered him, I believe, back in the fall last year. Mike Elston is the main recruiter there. It looks like, he's more interested in some southern schools. Auburn, North Carolina, Tennessee are places that he's already taken official visits to. He also has official set up for Alabama and Georgia. So it doesn't look like Michigan will get an official visit. However, if he wants to cancel one of those Alabama, Georgia officials, Michigan would definitely take him. But he came up, he visited the other state Saturday and just kind of unexpectedly decided, hey, let's go to Michigan, let's check out Ann Arbor. And I'm sure it was an impressive visit, even though the coaching staff and everyone was just getting back from Iowa from the previous day. However, he was on the campus. So that's a plus for Michigan. Hopefully they can land or at least get into the discussion there for Hobbs. Speaking in on recruiting and 5-stars, Nicholas Harbor, it looks like Michigan is the slight favorite at this moment for Nicholas Harbor out of Washington, D.C. Archbishop Carroll. Let's just try to keep that momentum going because Lord knows, like I said, this class needs a little bit of juice, man. Some star power wouldn't help. If we can land both of those guys, that would be great. Hobbs and Harbor, that would be excellent. I'm not going to, I'm not putting any eggs in that basket, but, that would be something that would be wanted and needed. Next week, Michigan is on the road again, this time at Indiana. I believe early lines are 21 points. So I definitely made a little money on the Iowa bet because I was expecting a bigger blowout. But either way, they covered the spread, and that's what's important. After Iowa is the big one, the Maize Out game against number 10 Penn State. Time to be determined, but because it's a Maize Out, I'm going to assume that that's going to be a night game. I hope it is, number one. Number two, it should be. Let's just keep it there. Really quickly, be sure to follow the Twitter and the Instagram, U of M Madman. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe right here on the YouTube channel. It is me, your Michigan Madman. We'll have an update on Wednesday, a preview of the Indiana game, as well as some more recruiting news. Till next time, I'm still mad.
Ladies and gentlemen, this might be our best season ever. My ratings, they're about to go through the roof.
All right, now I'm gonna calm down. So I'm gonna calm down, son. I just don't get that all that mace and that lock and all that. I just don't get it, son, for real.
Just calm
and how
down.
the